Hey guys, welcome back to the Wall Street Bull. Anthony here. I hope you're all doing well and staying positive out there. It is never a dull and boring moment in crypto, finance, or the stock market. That is why I love doing daily market updates. Now today is Monday, the 13th of July, 2026. Can you believe how fast this year is going? I do have my espresso, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing. We're going to go through quite a bit today in regards to Ripple, XRP, my favorite cryptocurrency, the Clarity Act. We've got Bitcoin nearing the bottom, so finally we could see a reversal. Tom Lee giving some interesting points about Ethereum and Bitcoin pairs. And of course, we're going to watch some videos and go through some news on X that has come out over the last 24 hours. So let's get into it. Also, we're going to go over Earn Curve and my Harvest bots because I did set up a Bitcoin bot on the Harvest bots, my software, last week. So we'll go through all of that. Let's get into it, guys. Massive shout out and thank you to every single one of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you are new, make sure you smash the subscribe button down there and turn on that little bell notification because as you see on the screen, I absolutely love documenting my journey with investing with cryptos, dividend stocks, growth stocks, talking about passive income, building financial freedom, and of course, my goal at the end of the day is to build generational wealth. So come along on this incredible journey. Things are getting very interesting in this space. Also, if you can give this video a thumbs up, watch it straight through, would really help me push this channel out to a lot more people because the YouTube algorithm is absolute magic when you find, ladies and gentlemen, do that, all right? So make sure you give it a thumbs up. It doesn't cost you anything, it's down there. Thank you very much, you rock. Also, a little disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and due diligence with this stuff, or I don't want to see anyone get financially hurt. That is why my number one golden rule is I only invest what I can afford to lose. And yes, when I like to lose, you can lose money like that in the blink of an eye in crypto and, of course, any other investment. So please be careful. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the formalities are out of the way. We'll have a look at the post tab over the weekend to see what happened. But top altcoins in my portfolio, we had Solo, Holochain, TLM, which is Alien Worlds, which is again like a gaming token anyway, it's pretty cool. And Pitbull, which was just a bit of a play with a friend of mine, so do what you will with that. We had one of the sharpest analysts in crypto. We are through the worst of the bear market, but not out of it yet. So fingers crossed we start moving. But this is Real Vision Chief Crypto Analyst Jamie Coots. Says that Bitcoin at 63,000 is a 50% below its October 2025 high of the 126,000 and entering the later stages of a typical bear market cycle. We've been in a bear market for a while. It's pretty frustrating. I know a lot of people get sick and tired of hanging around this long, I can tell you that much. $170 billion added to the crypto market in just 10 days as Bitcoin is back up above 64K. Well, at the moment, at the time of recording, I think it's around about 62. But there has been inflows, which is good. And Ethereum climbs 3% as Robinhood chain nets $106 million in bridge deposits. So that's pretty interesting. BlackRock did inject $87 million into the IBIT, their Bitcoin ETF as well. The first week, Bitcoin ETF green, for weeks. So it's pretty good to see that. Anyway, we've got an interesting one. A BPI fight, $293 billion dormant Bitcoin wallet seizure in New York. So again, Bitcoin Policy Institute filed and to intervene July 10 in a New York lawsuit seeking legal title to nearly 40,000 Bitcoin that are dormant in a wallet. That is a lot of Bitcoin. That is absolutely wild. Also, Circle last week did officially become a chartered bank. So, of course, the stock price went soaring, skyrocketing, and as you can see there on the chart. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, let's have a quick look at coin market cap. We've got $2.16 trillion today. $51.58 billion in volumes. So again, the volumes are really low at the moment. They need to be well up above 100 billion to 200 billion to start seeing some real good movement in there. With Fear and Greed Index, we're at 29, 57 out of 100. Again, we're moving into altcoin season, which is really cool to see that. Also, the ETFs on Market Open last week on Friday, there was $108 million that went into the Bitcoin ETF, which was interesting, most of it anyway. $18 million did go into Ethereum. They don't talk about the XRP ETFs. We'll get into that, ladies and gentlemen. Having a quick look at the prices this evening, we've got Bitcoin at 62,000 US dollars, and again, it is dipped below that 64. Ethereum's 1,786. XRP's $1.07, still insanely undervalued. That's just my opinion. Solana's at $76. We have Dogecoin at 7 cents. Stellar is at 18 cents. Cardano's at 16. Chainlink at $7.97. Litecoin 43. Sui's at 73 cents. Hedera sitting at 6 cents. Polkadot sitting at 83 cents. ICP at $2.19. Quant 65. XDC at 2 cents. VeChain in the pennies, doing nothing for 5 years. Terra Classic is in the fractions of a penny. I don't know if anyone's actually still holding that. IMX, Immutable X, we've got 13 cents. CFX, 4 cents. Telcoin, Axie Infinity, 98 cents. I remember back in the day, you could literally stake this for earning 42% annual yield. Even in Australia, I believe, back in the day, CoinSpot had it. You could literally earn 42% in Axie Infinity staking it. It was nuts. I know a lot of people made a lot of money doing that. I don't know if you can do it anymore, but because it's like highly illegal now for staking your cryptocurrencies in Australia anyway. Pretty wild. And Neo's $1.94. There you go. That's the prices today. Quickly, my crypto exchange. Yes, this is incredible. Thank you very much for those of you that have signed up, registered KYC'd. If you haven't done so, go do that, earncurveinvest.com. It is linked below in the video description and pinned in the comments. Be careful of scams in the comments, guys. YouTube is out of control with bots, fake accounts. I can't do anything to stop it. It's just nuts. So be careful. Anyway, my harvest bots are doing incredibly well. A lot of you have signed up, which is incredible. And again, I'm seeing all the trades happening again because I'm obviously it's my exchange. So I see all of the exchange and volumes moving. Again, my harvest bots were green just before in terms of USDT balance free. And again, it's low balance now because it's just bought up all the trades, which is incredible. I did run a Bitcoin bot last week, and it is currently up at the moment 0.2%. And I started that on the 10th of July. And again, all of my bots have made an overall return of 21.3%. Just to let everyone know, of course, it's a crypto market. Who knows what's going to happen? But anyway, this has been doing incredibly well, and it's been depositing USDT into my sub account. Here is my current Bitcoin grid bot that's running on the Harvest Bots, my software. It is working absolutely perfect. I've got a lot of sell orders open up here at the moment. And of course, buy orders because it's buying and selling on the movement of the market. That's what it does. And then it moves the profits into your virtual sub account on your EarnCurve account. All right. So as you can see, let me just show you my sub account so you actually can see my live account. Here, I'll go to my virtual sub account. I'll go switch. And again, I'll show you the USDT deposits today. It's been pretty good over the last few days, even though the market has been flat. And it's a really great way for people and users to make passive income with trading on the spot market. I've got 142 USDT in there, which is insane. That is, based on 900, 900 USDT in capital now because I reinvested into Bitcoin. And I'll show you the deposits into the accounts. And a lot of you are seeing this, which is incredible. Let's go to the day. Okay, so we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 deposits of USDT today. In the last week, as you can see, there's 3 pages worth of USDT deposits because, again, it's moving the profits from your grid trading into your sub account, leaving your principal capital there. In the last month alone, there's 17 pages. You can see it down the bottom. And, of course, in the last 3 months, if I scroll down here, there's 55 pages. So there's a lot. Anyway, go check it out, earncurveharvestbots.com. Everything is linked below. If you need anything, just please email me on the support. Do not message me on, of course, any social media platform or in the comments because, again, it's flooded with fake accounts. I can't stop it. Go to earncurveinvest.com. Email me here on the support link and I'll get back to you. But everyone's pretty straightforward. All the instructions are here for you. And, of course, I pinned it on my X page. So go check it out. All right, really cool. Now, Ripple almost shut down. I saw this interview with Brad Garlinghouse. We'll have a look at the interview in a moment. But the CEO just revealed something incredible. One of the most important companies in crypto came within reach of disappearing entirely. And again, it's taken the plan of XRP with it. In a candid talk this week, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed just how close the firm came to shutting down and handing its XRP treasury to shareholders rather than fighting the SEC. So again, this is serious stuff. But here's, again, all the XRP news today. And what did Ripple CEO actually reveal? Speaking at the University of Kansas School of Business, Brad Garlinghouse said he and the co-founder Chris Larsen seriously considered winding down Ripple and distributing the XRP holdings to its shareholders after the SEC sued the company in 2020, which is just brutal. And the mechanics were surprisingly simple. Ripple holds a large treasury of XRP, so the founders could have distributed those tokens to shareholders on a pro rata basis and would wind down its business, a maneuver not like any airdrop or to equity holders. So doing so would have ended the case outright, since Ripple could tell the regulator it no longer held the asset the SEC claimed was security, which is a disaster. And why Ripple decided to fight instead, and according to Garlinghouse, the deciding factor was not the confidence in winning, it was the people. And a shutdown would have put hundreds of employees out of work, while litigating kept the company operational. He was candid about how difficult the call was, saying he was glad in retrospect, but that it was obvious at the time. Former CTO David Schwartz reinforced that how dire things looked. The company received advice from lawyers that it was done, unsavable, and that the leadership should cut a deal to save themselves. It's insane what this company went through, and it's still here, which is incredible. And how much did the SEC fight cost Ripple? This is insanity. The price of standing its ground was steep. Garlinghouse puts Ripple's 4-year legal bill at roughly $150 million and confirmed the SEC named him and Chris Larsen personally. He argued the personal charges were the pressure tactic. David Schwartz suggested the SEC named Garlinghouse and Larsen personally as a deliberate maneuver to weaken their resolve and force a quick capitulation. Garlinghouse also said he met with the SEC officials 4 times, 2017 and 2019, without a lawyer, and was never warned that XRP might be treated as security. I remember this fully, feeding a long-standing industry complaint about regulation by enforcement. And thank President Trump for being pro-crypto and getting rid of Gary Gensler. It's insanity. Anyway, we do have John Deaton, who I met at Wave of Innovation on the Gold Coast a couple of years ago. He was incredible. And he is credited 75,000 XRP holders with helping Ripple executives resist pressure during the company's legal fight with the US Securities Exchange Commission. And again, this is incredible right here. But Deaton responded to comments from Ripple co-founder David Schwartz, who said outside lawyers once viewed the company as unsavable. Schwartz suggested that naming Garlinghouse and Larsen personally may have encouraged them to protect themselves through separate settlements. And this is from John Deaton, legend by the way, previous to Ripple lawsuit by the SEC Gov, Jay Clayton was intervened with Joe Grunfest. Jay Clayton stated that sometimes it is smart to sue the individual executive as a company, even in a non-fraud enforcement actions, Grunfest stated. So the account describes internal advice and personal views, does not establish the SEC's motive bringing the claims. Garlinghouse said Ripple instead spent $150 million defending themselves, which is just crazy. It's just, for those of us that have been in this space for so long, going through that entire legal process not only opened my eyes to the Securities and Exchange Commission laws in the United States, but the entire debacle that it was, and the fact that it was, essentially over. And I mean, with President Trump coming in and the SEC, Gary Gensler getting removed from office or, leaving, so to speak, it's incredible. How many legal documents I read over 6 years is just, those 4.5 years was insane. You've got to read, we just read them all. James K. Fineland, John Deaton, and also shout out to my fellow incredible XRP army, Jeremy Hogan. Where are you, mate? I don't know where he is at the moment, and I believe he's gotten off X, gosh, the Jeremy Hogan, mate, that was some pretty incredible stuff. He provided some really insightful videos for the XRP community. We miss Jeremy Hogan. Anyway, moving on to the Clarity Act, and I will have a sip of the coffee. That's good. Now, a new draft of the Clarity Act may be unveiled this week, according to multiple sources cited by CoinDesk. Despite the potential for progress, the legislation still faces significant challenges in the US Senate. where it has been stalled due to disputes over decentralized finance regulation and stablecoin yield bans. I don't understand why they're banning it. The Clarity Act, aimed at delineating regulatory authority between the SEC and the CFTC, has already passed the House and cleared the Senate Banking Committee, but requires further negotiation to secure the necessary votes for passage. As lawmakers push to finalise the bill, market participants appear to be responding to the news with cautious optimism. Kevin O'Leary just put a video out, I think last night, in regards to this, and we'll have a look at that because he believes it's about a 50% chance that will get passed. Bitcoin is nearing the power law support line Fidelity has tracked since 2015. Very interesting. I've done previously, years ago, I looked at the power laws. It was interesting. But we have Duran Timmer, Fidelity's Director of Global Macro, says Bitcoin is drifting toward the bottom edge of the model he has used for tracked it for years. And that model is the power law, which plots Bitcoin's entire price history on a logarithmic chart bounded by three curves, an upper resistance line and a middle trend line, and the lower support line that has caught every major bottom since 2015. And on Timmer's latest chart, the support line sits at 58,000 USD and Bitcoin at about 62,700, closing in on it. So, I mean, this, it's just purely a buy zone. Higher highs, lower lows. It's been doing this for years, so keep an eye on that. The XRP ETFs, though, is interesting. They've put a lot of ads on here. I don't know why, but we do still have Bitwise leading here at 5.69 million, 463,000 shares. Where is the ETF inflows? Here we go. We have Bitwise still leading the pack, 288 million XRP. There's 970 million in total locked in the vaults. Canary's at 231 million. Franklin Templeton at 228, 21 shares at 108 million XRP. That is a significant amount. Tom Lee is very, very bullish on Ethereum. I mean, he's just like the Michael Saylor of Ethereum. Fundstrat, co-founder. Tom Lee's urged digital asset investors to keep a close eye on the Ethereum to Bitcoin trading pair, calling the ratio a definitive signal for the revival of crypto, which is interesting. And he put this on X. Come by today, he's basically speaking at WebEx Asia, and the Cyril stage. He's telling everyone to keep an eye on the Bitcoin and Ethereum chart and the trading pairs. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Let's go to X and then we'll end up on here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to those 11,900 people. You guys absolutely rock. Here is the video on how to set up your harvest bots if you need it. Go watch it. Grok 4.5, I haven't tried yet, but it ranks slightly higher above Fable, which is just incredible. I think Anthropic does need to just include Fable on their plan. ChatGPT, Grok, you've got Anthropic, all of these AIs, honestly, it's just getting out of control. Just make things more affordable because it's very expensive. We have Eleanor Tarrant. This week is a busy week. We have, of course, the CPI and PPI fresh inflation data that could shape expectations for the next Fed's interest rate decision. Welcome to Australia, by the way. We just put interest rates up because our inflation's out of control because of the stupid government. Fed Chair Kevin Warsh delivers a semi-annual monetary policy report. And, of course, the Clarity Act that merges the Senate Banking and Senate Agriculture Committee texts. While stakeholders are anticipating text, some industry sources tell me key provisions are still being actively negotiated. I'm not going to play this. I will play the Clarity Act in regards to an actual fact. Let's play this because this is important. Brad Garlinghouse, listen to this, guys.
And today we've all had experience, not too many people write checks, not too many people do those things anymore. If everybody were on Venmo, wow, that would be easy, right? Well, not everybody's on Venmo. There's a whole bunch of different networks. And the way I think about this, because I'm doing a quick survey of the audience, there's some people more my age than my son's age. Back when the internet was getting started, you had CompuServe, you had Prodigy, you had AOL. You couldn't send an email from Prodigy to AOL. You could only communicate within a closed network. Our payment networks are the same thing. Venmo is a closed network. Until very recently, you couldn't move money from Venmo to PayPal, and PayPal owns Venmo. That doesn't make sense. But it's because of how our payment networks are configured. The highest friction is sending money overseas. Now, either from a professional point of view or a personal point of view, if you've ever had the unfortunate need to send money overseas, it is painful, it is expensive, it is slow, and mistakes happen and it gets lost for 2 weeks and you have to go track down. Rarely do you ever lose your money, but it's really frustrating. And what I used to say is, in a world where you literally can stream video from the space station, how can you not move your own money from A to B in a simple, reliable way? Ripple went out to solve that problem, and in our technology, by the way, everything I've said, you'll notice, I didn't say crypto, I didn't say XRP. Like, consumers don't understand how it impacts them, customers, and does anybody here really care if it went through XRP to solve that problem? You don't care. But what you do care about is, was it fast? An XRP transaction is about 4 seconds anywhere in the world. Is it cheap? It's fractions of a penny to move that money.
It is true. It's insane how old the technology is in the world at the moment. But they were coming close to shutting everything down, which would have been devastating. But they chose to fight, which is incredible. There is a video of Brad talking about this. Here it is right here. Let me just play this for all of you. I think it's interesting.
He sued us. We were like, like the government has infinite power and resources, and again, they were so Chris Larsen, who's the chairman of the company and the co-founder, and he and I have had a great partnership for a lot of years, and both of us were like, do we want to, what's the right answer here? And we could have shut it down and distributed. The company owns a lot of XRP. You just distribute the XRP to shareholders on a pro rata basis.
Computer's so slow.
Okay, you guys think these are securities. Ripple doesn't own it anymore. Ripple's gone. Now, hundreds of people would have lost their jobs. I think that was a bad outcome, but in some ways it was the easier outcome. Yeah. And that was a difficult decision, and obviously I'm glad in retrospect, but that was not obvious at the time.
Yeah.
There you go. I can't believe that's full on. Moving on, just quickly, we've got Hong Kong now offers 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin and crypto. Unlike Australia, where we've got to pay, 47% on capital gains tax and everything else, every other tax. You can't even walk out your house without being taxed. So anyway, that is it for today, guys. If you need anything, jump on EarnCurve and email me if you need support. But get started with your harvest bots. They are working perfectly. It's incredible. Go register KYC and I will apply a 10% discount to your, of course, account. As you can see, this is no BS. It is working, and I hope you all get to try it. That's all I'm going to say, because it's incredible. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll speak to everybody soon. Make sure you have a good night, good afternoon, and good morning. And if it's morning, have a double shot espresso for me, all right? Take care of yourselves, guys. Stay positive and stay bullish. Peace out.